Hello and welcome. So, OpenAI had an interesting article the other day, and this is April 27th. This will be important very soon. So, the article is basically about their agreement with Microsoft. And if you've been following this whole AI thing for the past 3.5 years, you'll know that Microsoft and OpenAI have just been very, very close with all this. Microsoft gives them a ton of money every year. It's like, I think the least amount has been like 10 billion. And I don't know the exact numbers, but it's at least 10 billion a year, each year for the last at least 3. And OpenAI was exclusively on Microsoft infrastructure because they don't have their own infrastructure yet. They're building data centers now. And there's all this stuff, and Microsoft basically had full access to all of OpenAI's intellectual property, so they could do kind of whatever they wanted with it. The early versions of Microsoft Copilot, before it was called Copilot, was basically just a carbon copy of ChatGPT. Just had like a different visual look, but it was literally just ChatGPT behind the scenes. All kinds of stuff from the beginning. Apparently, they are changing their agreement. And that's what this article is all about. And looking at some of the key points here, Microsoft will remain OpenAI's primary cloud provider. Before, they used to be their only cloud provider. So that's really important. Again, that's going to be really important in a second. OpenAI products will ship first on Azure, unless Microsoft cannot and chooses not to support the necessary capabilities. Again, Microsoft didn't have an out before. It was just like their agreement was, you can use our infrastructure and we'll support whatever it is. Now, well, we'll support it if we want to. And OpenAI can now serve all its products to customers across any cloud provider. Again, that's huge. Microsoft will continue to have a license to OpenAI IP or models and products through 2032. This is another huge one. The way it used to be, at least my understanding of it, was that their agreement would continue until it was declared that they had achieved AGI, or artificial general intelligence. And I think that's a big reason why a lot of the marketing stuff was just like, we've almost gotten AGI, and why AGI has been such a big deal, because for these two companies in particular, their agreement depended on it. And it was like, once AGI was declared and confirmed and whatever the specifics were, then that basically said, this is the end of our contract, and then we can kind of do other stuff. They've changed that, and now it's just through 2032. There's no AGI requirement. It's just 2032, and then we're done. And Microsoft's license will now be non-exclusive. Microsoft will no longer pay a revenue share to OpenAI. Revenue share from OpenAI to Microsoft will continue through 2030. And Microsoft will continue to be a major shareholder. Okay, I mean, they're big businesses now. They can do whatever they want. So this is April 27 again. This is another post from OpenAI on April 28th. One day later, OpenAI models come to AWS. If you don't know what AWS is, that is Amazon infrastructure, Amazon Web Services, but it's Amazon infrastructure. It's one of the biggest competitors to Microsoft Azure. So one day after OpenAI says they are no longer exclusive with Microsoft, we're like, oh yeah, now we're going to go with AWS too. This is a positive, I think, for the users of any OpenAI stuff. So whether you're using ChatGPT, whether you're using the GPT models, or whichever models through API, or using Codex, or using whatever things, I think that spreading this out across more infrastructure is better. This kind of takes away I don't want to call Azure a single point of failure, because it's very, very vast infrastructure, but it's still a single provider. Now that it's on Azure and AWS. My guess is that it's going to be on Google infrastructure soon enough, and maybe some other things. And then eventually OpenAI, their data centers will be built and they'll have their own infrastructure. But I think that spreading this out across lots of different providers just will probably lead to fewer outages and fewer service disruptions for the end users. So I think that would be a huge positive for the users of these things. And this article just basically says the specifics of what you'll have on AWS and OpenAI models on AWS. You have Codex on AWS, Amazon Bedrock, managed agents powered by OpenAI, etc. So basically, the stuff that was only on Azure is now on AWS as well. You can read through the article if that's interesting to you. We'll link both of these in the description. I think the bigger points are that Microsoft and OpenAI are no longer exclusive. And literally the next day, OpenAI is like, we're going to AWS as well. Again, I think it's a huge win for the users of OpenAI models and tools. I think it's an interesting shift behind the scenes. I think Microsoft still is a huge winner in this. Again, going back to this other post here, it's like Microsoft does not have to pay a revenue share anymore, but they still get revenue share payments from OpenAI. Microsoft has access till 2032. Like Microsoft is still a huge winner on all this. And, Copilot is better than it's ever been. Like Copilot is an actual, I think a lot of people have been kind of sleeping on Copilot because it's been kind of terrible. But in Microsoft fashion, they've just kind of been sitting back and looking at the things that OpenAI is doing well, looking at things Google is doing well, looking at the things Anthropic is doing well. And they've been slowly putting all of them in Copilot. Like Copilot is really good now, and Microsoft already has like the enterprise, business market kind of locked down. So it's like Microsoft is in a really, really strong position. So I don't think that Microsoft is, the quote unquote loser in this at all. But either way, Microsoft and OpenAI have amended their agreement, and OpenAI has already just kind of expanded their horizons, gone to AWS. Again, I won't be surprised if in the very near future there's similar stories about OpenAI making agreements to go on other infrastructure providers just to lock in that availability for OpenAI models and tools for end users, businesses, and whoever wants to pay them to use it. So if you want to read through those articles, again, we'll link them in the description, and we will see you next time.